Hello, once again, Maize and Blue fans. So it's Saturday night, so Michigan got through playing earlier today. And so I'm going to break down what happened and what to look for the future when we play Wisconsin next week. So, as always, like, share, subscribe to my page, and let's just get into it. So, Michigan played Maryland today. Score was 35-10. Wasn't really worried too much about the game because Michigan just has more talent than Maryland, and they were they're on like their fourth QB this year. Like they've had horrible luck with quarterbacks, so when you don't have a QB, you're just out of luck unless you have one hell of a running game. So it was 35-10. I'm going to go over Maryland's stats real quick, and then I'm going to go through Michigan and talk Michigan because Maryland's just a bad team, so there's no point in really talking about them. So Brand was 16 of 35, 45% for 136, a TD, and 2 picks. The TD came in garbage time, so it really didn't matter. The starting running back Harrison, he was 12 carries for 81 yards. And Johnson had 12 carries for like 67 yards. But it was a blowout. Like, after the first half, the game was pretty much over. Our defense had them on lockdown. Even though we didn't do much in the second half, the game was pretty much over for the most part. We just wanted to get some consistency in some things, and we didn't get it. But I'll go over that more in a second. So, Brandon Peters was 9 of 18, 50%. 145 and 2 TDs. Chris Evans was 15 carries for 80 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 receptions for 29 yards. Karan Higdon had 10 carries for 50 yards, 2 receptions for 48 yards. So he had a pretty good day, even though he didn't play that much. So, but he still was productive. Higdon's looking good. But he got injured in I want to say it was the third quarter, and he didn't come back in the game. He said it was a sprained ankle. Hopefully he'll be okay for next game because we got something looking good, especially for the future with Higdon and Chris Evans. Like, that's looking good for next year. And then if Kareem Walker comes along, which he's starting to, we'll have a nice 3-headed monster, at least a 2-headed monster for sure. But besides that, it's just really about the game was really just about Michigan's defense locking down. Michigan's defense, we lock down bad teams. So it's not much to say about that. Like, Michigan's defense is going to do what it does. It's going to lock down bad teams, blitz, and just make a quarterback's life a living hell for a game. But it was more about our offense, so Brandon Peters, he got to throw downfield a little more and complete some balls, but there's a number that I was when I was looking at the stats. He did not complete a ball. He completed one ball to a wide receiver all game, and it was to Eddie McDoom for 2 yards. To Eddie McDoom for 2 yards. The rest were tight ends and running backs. Man, we got to get this passing game together. It has to be done. Like, the passing coordinator, I'm just almost ready for the season to be over so we can fire our passing game coordinator because they are so bad. And the reason, this is how it's more the coordinator and the offensive coordinator, the passing game coordinator and the offensive coordinator, because we've only maybe had a couple games where we had a quarterback with 60% completions. And for that, I can say, yeah, we lost our number one, Tariq Black. He was a beast. He was a stud. Hopefully he gets well and is ready for next year. But besides that, we don't have a number one go-to wide receiver. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's not ready. I don't know if it's his route running or he's just not physical enough yet. He's just not ready to be a a starting 1-2. I'm not sure what it is, but Grant Perry's a good slot receiver, but you need somebody to scheme plays to get him the ball, which it shouldn't be hard to get Perry the ball at least, because you put him in the slot and you just run quick little routes. Like for Grant Perry, all you need are like in routes and things like that, digs and little routes like that, and he should be getting 3 and 4 catches a game easily, because he's got great hands and he can get open. Those little routes like that they're like option routes. Like it shouldn't be a problem for him to at least get the ball, because we know he can produce. So it's just on scheming, and I know people are probably tired of me harping on it, but it's just amazing to me that you can't scheme your wide receivers open. Like you don't have a way to get them open, and it makes me wonder also. To the old we have Harbaugh. We went back to Michigan football, which is pound the rock, and then you want to play action pass deep. Now we're getting the pound the rock, but we're not getting the play action passes deep or just those deep go routes. You know, you go back in history to Braylon Edwards. You just throwing it up to him. Big receiver, just throw it up to him. Your David Terrells. Hell, even Jeremy Gallen. Just we all know those dudes that we had. Number one dudes that you could just throw it up to. Or just a big receiver and we just throw it up to him. Hell, even Devin Funchess. But it's just... It's not that hard. That's just what kind of boggles me. It's really not that hard. I don't know what it is or what's going on, but next week I'm worried because we got through the game and we played a good game, a good first half. Second half not so much. Defense was okay second half, but the offense, it got stagnant. And with Jim Harbaugh, I've noticed since early in the season when he realized he didn't have a passing game at all, he just kind of relied on his defense. He gets up 14. If Harbaugh gets up 14, you can expect him to just hand it off 3 times and be happy with it, happy with punting, because he know he has a lockdown defense. Like Harbaugh's a guy that once he knows what he has, he's not going to go out of the box too much. He's just going to go with it. So he gets up a couple scores. He's happy to just punt the ball the rest of the game. And he can win like that against bad and mediocre teams. But Wisconsin and OSU, these are going to be a real test for the team. Like he's going to really have to get these boys ready to play. And then besides that, we had injuries. Let's see. David Long, he came back in the game. They say it was like his knee, but I worry about that as him being a corner. Mike McCrary went out. He came back in. Rashawn Gary got hurt, limped off and kind of shook it off. And Karan Higdon, he got a sprained ankle and he didn't come back in the game, probably because we got backs, so we really didn't need him to when we were already up 28-0. But those are big injuries. Like we have some of the worst luck. Like it's just crazy the luck we have. So we're coming into a big game against Wisconsin. David Long, probably our best cover corner. McCrary, a senior with leadership. Rashawn Gary, probably the most talented person on our defense, if not the best overall player. I mean, that's debatable with Maurice Hurst out there. And Karan Higdon, who's become a beast in the last couple weeks. Like, it's clicking for him. And now he goes down with that ankle injury. It's hard to say if he's going to be 100% or if he's even going to play next week because he didn't come back in the game. So I hate that because he's running. When you play in teams like Wisconsin and OSU, you need a back like the way Higdon is running. He's running hard, determined, and speed. Because when you're playing teams like that, you need speed with a hard runner and everything too. Because you can have a hard runner, but if he's not breaking, he's getting those 5-6 yards, and then you bust out a gain for 20 or 30. Yeah, you got 30 yards, but if you had a guy in there like Higdon speed, you're going to take it to the house. And that can count because you get a 30-yard gain and then get stopped for a field goal, or you end up having to punt. You want to get those 7 points. So when you can have a guy with that speed in there, it's a big difference. Speed kills. I'll say it every time. Speed kills. But we have Evans, but Evans doesn't run as physical and as hard as Karan Higdon does. Evans runs good, and he's more of a, I wouldn't just say he's a scat back, but he doesn't run with that punishing fierce style like Higdon does. And it's been a season where we haven't really had a guy like that, because we had Smith last year, and we know Smith was ready and willing to run over anybody. So it was just good to see somebody want to be that bell cow, and he has been the last couple weeks. But one more thing about the defense, I'm gonna be sad to see Maurice Hurst go, because he's gonna go pro this year after the season, and he's a beast. Dude is gonna be a top 10, top 20 pick probably, because he is a beast. If you see this dude on the D-line and how quick he gets off the line and avoids the offensive lineman, it's a thing of beauty to see a big dude get off the line that fast. Like he has been a big help for the defense. I'm gonna be sad to see Maurice Hurst go, because he is a beast. But besides that, there's not much to say. I just want to see. So now I want to talk about next week. Wisconsin, we know what Wisconsin's going to do. They're going to try to run it down our throat. And so the defense needs to be disciplined for cutbacks for the most part, which they usually are disciplined for the most part. But, you know, they have those times when they just get a little out of place and, you know, they over pursue, and then that cutbacks comes, and then it's off to the races, because Wisconsin has a stud freshman back, and he can get it done. So I just want to make sure that the defense just stays disciplined, because if they stay disciplined, they can keep us in the game with Wisconsin. Like I don't have too much of a doubt about that. But it's going to come down to the passing game, because the defense will keep us in the game long enough as long as the passing game and the offense does something. Like, it's just shocking to me we don't have any, like, continuity with the offense and the quarterback and the wide receivers. Like, we get nothing from the wide receivers. It's, like, unbelievable. Because this year we're supposed to be like, oh, we got all this young talent at wide receiver, and we've got like nothing out of them. I thought Donovan Peoples-Jones was going to be a stud this year. Besides that punt return, he really hasn't done much at all this year, and it's kind of sad. But I mean, it is just what it is. What it is. Hopefully, he just takes this all into motivation, and this offseason, get in the weight room, get bigger, get faster, work on your route running, work on that route tree, complete your game. Just because football, the one thing about football is you just have to, it's about heart, desire, but when you're through the week and when you're in the off season, it's all about getting better, because you don't need anything to train. You don't need your coaches or anybody to train you. When you've been at practice for years and years and years, you know all the drills. You know how to get better. It's just on you to do it. Because, you know, in the offseason, you only have a certain amount of time to practice and everything. It's on you. To practice football, you don't need anything but a park and some cones. That's all you need. That's all you need at skill positions. At wide receiver, all you need is somebody to throw the ball and some cones so you can work on your footwork and get your feet quicker. Same with the DBs and covering. All you need is our cones, and you can get out there and improve on your game. So besides the weight room, I want to just see everybody get better this year. Everybody get better. Like, I really wish we just need to get that leadership back to Michigan, getting back to what we do. Like that leadership of Michigan just being dominating and everybody expecting the expectation to dominate from the top to the bottom. Whether you're a freshman or you're a senior, the freshmen coming in know what's expected, and the seniors are trying to. Everybody wants to continue success and dominate. Like, we just have to get that mental block away that we are back and that this is what is expected at Michigan. Like, being undisciplined, that's not supposed to happen. Us coming unprepared, that's not going to happen. Like, we have to get back to expectations on the field of expecting excellence. Like, it has to get back to that, or you'll see these 2-loss seasons every year, 2-3 losses. The expectation has to get back to going undefeated and being committed to excellence. And it starts, the coaches can do what they do, but it has to get back to players holding each other accountable. For everybody holding each other accountable. Your top guys holding the younger guys accountable and so on, because they know they're not going to make mistakes. Like, it has to get back to that. But that's all I wanted to say, really. Michigan, I'm not going to say it anymore because everybody knows. Peters, I don't know if he's ready for what's going to happen this upcoming next 2 weeks. And I can't blame him because, one, the offensive coordinator and the passing game, they haven't gotten him ready. 2, I don't think our wide receivers can get open like that without the offensive and play callers scheming them open. And so, he might have to take some lumps this weekend. This next upcoming week, he might have to take some lumps. But hopefully it's all for the better. So, that's all I wanted to say today. We got the dub, but I'm always just looking for the future. So, as always, like, share, subscribe to my page. And, hey, we got another dub, but I'm worried about next week. But as always, go blue.